you might want to go over to your Facebook. I'll tell you why.
Man, you know what? I was going to tell you. I was going to send you.
You don't know how to do it?
No, I didn't. I was going to send you my my new
your new link. You got some. There's like a stonefly hatch going on the Schuylkill right now. You just had one on your head, but it's gone now. All right, we're live. It looks like we're live on Glocker Realty and Insurance on Facebook. Looks like we're going live on YouTube, Glocker Realty and Insurance on YouTube. Got some people watching now on Glocker Realty and Insurance. We're at SoulJoel's.
And even though, Matt, that I said that we were going to be back on my page this week, in the past week, I forgot to send you my password, and we are still not on my page.
We're not on Jeff Frederick with Glocker Realty.
Next week, I promise.
Yeah, well, all we got to do is get together at the office, and we got to re-authenticate your
I just got to send you my
key.
Password.
Yeah, that's all it's going to take.
I know.
All right, let's stop talking about us.
We're off to a great start.
This is kind of how it goes at the Cast at Glocker. Really, it does.
Yeah.
Because we, honest to God, don't really know what we're doing. We're realtors, right? We're not professional show business people, comedian stage people, whatever, right?
That I like to think I'm a professional comedian.
Sometimes I think I'm funny.
Yeah.
Jeff's pretty funny guy in person. I don't know if I have what it takes to get up on stage night after night.
I could never get on stage. I would freeze.
Would you?
I would freeze. Yeah, immediately.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Well, he's freezing now, right?
Well, my head's freezing at least. That's for sure.
We're outside at SoulJoel's at the, what were you guys calling this? The amphitheater?
Yeah, we were calling it the amphitheater. So we went inside, outside, and then we went to back over the summer. We had the beach, and then in the fall we did heated tent, and now it's the heated dome. But now we're just gonna call it the comedy dome.
Okay.
Comedy Dome's a good name.
Yeah.
Comedy Dome.
Because in another week we won't need all these heaters.
It is huge too. The people at home are just seeing a small piece here of the stage, and it's just a piece of the stage, but it is huge.
It's 100 by 65, and a lot of people so all the people that are on that wall right there. We did a one-time donation in December because we didn't make any money in November, December, January. 90 days we didn't make any money.
Wow.
And a lot of people now. Whether it's the winter or it's just they're getting vaccinated or whatever the reason, some people don't come out, and they came out the last weekend for DL Hughley.
I saw that.
And and some of the people that came, they come all the way from New Jersey, and they're like, oh my gosh, like the pictures, they don't realize how big this. Like it's 30 feet in the air, 35 feet in the air, 100 by 65. Like there's no way you could feel. We've had so many people tell us that we shouldn't have built this because they'll figure it out and it's claustrophobic. It's like, there's no way you could be claustrophobic in this thing.
No, there's what do you say? It fits 400, right? 400 people?
300 people.
300 people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as high as like a movie theater. It's got to be bigger than your indoor space that you were using before,
it's much
right?
bigger. So we went, we opened up November 1st in 2019. We went from 1 day a week. Prior to this, we were at the Valley Forge Casino. And by the end of February, we expanded to 5 days a week.
Okay.
And literally 2 weeks later, we were shut down.
Yeah.
But we were 140 seats, and so now we just talked about we doubled.
Yeah.
So our growth has been exponential through this whole pandemic.
Right.
Even though 3 months it's not like. Not having any stream. I had multiple streams of income.
Right.
To use an MLM word, I was managing comics. We had venues all over the place. We produced over 200 shows a year, and then we opened up the indoor space. And then literally none of the comics are touring. None of our other venues are open. Our homes shut down.
Right.
So it all comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but we're back up and running, and finally turning that corner again, just because we didn't stop moving.
Hey, before we get into it too deep, I think we have to give Joel a proper introduction.
Okay.
I think. So we're with Joel Richard here at SoulJoel's Comedy Club, and you are the owner and operator, of course, and you opened in November, correct?
Yeah.
Last November.
November, 2019. Yep.
Okay. All right. Now that we properly introduced him.
Now how do people get here? What's the address here?
Go ahead.
So it's 155 Railroad Plaza in Royersford, Pennsylvania. I learned how to say it properly.
Royersford.
That's one. Yeah, I kept saying Ferd, and all the comics they do a promo on their phone and send it to us. We post up on social media, and literally 90% of them say it wrong. And one of the guys in town, he owns his own driving school. He used to come to my shows at Valley Forge. He goes, by the way, Joel, loved your video. Joey St. John, who was just here, is my general manager and our brand manager. He made this great video walking down Main Street and finding this place. We did a great promo. But I said the town wrong, the borough wrong. And he goes, hey, by the way, Joel, love that you're opening up in my hometown where I was born and raised and where I live now. He's like, but don't piss everyone off.
By saying it wrong.
So if you want to just say Ford, like the president, or like the car dealership. Yep. That being said, good luck. See you opening night. Like, that was so passive aggressive yet supportive, backhanded compliment. The blood's still fresh in my mouth.
Yeah.
But it's been great, and all these comics that keep coming down. New York pretty much just opened up April 3rd. Philadelphia on and off was shut down, so we were the only game in town.
Yeah.
So all these comics, we're providing not only a stage, because whether they need to do stand-up or not to survive, they love. It's their passion. It's their love.
Whether
they
make musicians.
Right. Just make musicians. Whether they do comedy to get into podcasting like you guys are, or movies and stuff like that. This is still like their hobby and their passion. So people troll on like, oh man, D.L. Hughley, he must have a terrible manager like MC Hammer to have dipped down to your pandemic floodplain of a field. Dude, what are you talking about? What are you like? Are you out of your mind? And I'm so crazy that I shouldn't even give him the time of day, but I literally want to verbally punch him through his keyboard because he's a keyboard tough guy.
Well, who the hell is gonna drag a comedian on social media? It's your job every day, all day, 365 to come up with snappy comebacks. Right. You want to mess with me?
Right.
You're going down.
Well, and that's the thing. The guy was like, "Oh, that's what he said." He goes, "And Andrew Dice Clay." He's like, he was like, "You should, you're nothing but a star." I don't know. Can we curse? No. But I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, no, I'm not. We got Andrew Dice Clay. All these guys. You think Andrew Dice Clay needs the money that I paid him to be here? No. I'm like, he actually did us a favor of coming here. I'm like, he sold out every arena in the country, Madison Square Garden.
Like, he was the first comedian ever, I think, to sell out Madison Square Garden.
But here's the thing, like, you might not have heard him, but like he was in Star is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, which won an Academy Award. He just had his own series on Showtime called Dice, and then he was literally down in Miami right now. He just left a new series called Gravesend, and now he has another series coming out of Hulu. And he has his own documentary. Like, he's never been more relevant, but you just don't follow him. There's so much content out there.
Right,
yeah. But they're like, oh, washed up. And I'm like, okay.
But the other side of it, too, is, like, listen, no matter what you do, there's always going to be somebody saying something stupid and something negative, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's something that this area, Royersford, should be proud of.
I know.
We can bring in national national, international acts. These people have toured the world, and we can get them to Royersford. If you live around here, you should be damn proud of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're a completely BYO venue, so we don't serve anything. We partner with local restaurants, and people bring their own food and their drinks. They have to bring their own chair, too, which they can't believe. And depending on the fan base of the comedian, they either all call ahead of time and go, hey, I read somewhere, like Russell Peters, comedian from Canada.
Yeah.
People are
He's
like,
funny as hell.
But his whole, arguably the biggest international star we had here, and his whole fan base was like, I read on your website. I'm like, oh, God bless. I can't believe you read. Right. Because a lot of these other like redneck comedian fans, they're like, they show up, they're like, what? Like cut off short sleeve shirts. They're like, this is out. They didn't read anything, but they knew it was BYOB.
Yeah, they
just
didn't read that. They see that.
They got that.
They're scanning for that BYOB.
Yeah, but jacket, chair, they had nothing.
They won't come empty-handed.
It's hilarious.
With beer.
Right. Yeah. Or whatever else.
But I will say for those redneck fans that didn't read, you do have a bunch of chairs on the side here that I guess you have collected over time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we collected them over time because none of them match.
Yeah, right.
So, listen, I just threw up a slideshow, right?
Yeah.
So the people that are watching will be able to see some pictures of the venue that we keep talking about. There's some pictures from inside the arena, looking up towards the stage, and then there's a picture from the stage looking out so that people get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Listen, I got to give you some kudos here, and we've been talking to a lot of businesses, right?
Yep.
Jeff and I started this show, back in
October.
Mm-hmm. And then
yeah, he did.
I have another show that I do in Pottstown called Porchcast Pottstown.
Okay.
It's same kind of venue, right?
Yeah.
We talk about local businesses, local neighbors, what's going on in the community, right? The conversations that we keep having with the people that have been successful are the ones that were able to think outside the box like you were.
Yep.
So this is completely outside the box thinking.
Yeah, you had no plans for anything like this, right?
No plans, and again, Joey St. John, who's our brand manager, like we have, this is now our 4th comedy festival that we've branded outside. We had the Summer Fest, and we had the Fall Fest, we had the Winter Solstice, and now it's Spring Fling. So we keep branding all the shows together, and it's something that we he brings our story to life. Just like I said, like thinking outside the box. You look at other comedy clubs. Other comedy clubs have one comedian from Thursday to Sunday. And for the most part, we have different comics. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like different comics.
Yeah.
So it's something that, and we were even doing that inside. That's been our business model. Just thinking outside the box, and people can't be like, oh, you eventually want to get your own, your liquor license. I'm like, no, because we don't have the liability. And people literally, all we have to worry about is selling tickets.
Right.
That's all we have to do. We have to worry about selling tickets, and then when everybody wants to enjoy during the show, they bring it.
Yeah.
And we just ask that they don't bring the whole keg. I was just trying to see if you guys were still listening.
Yeah.
But back to you.
But no, at the end of the day, that's it sounds corny, but it's the power of positive thinking, right?
Yep.
You turn something that could have been a complete negative, a complete downer. Let's be honest, it could have killed your business.
Oh, absolutely.
And instead of getting drugged down and it's just Royersford, nobody's going to come here.
Yeah.
You flip the whole thing on its script.
And so many people have told us that these shows, whether they lost someone or just the whole last year for everyone, has just stunk. And it's been like to be able to come out one night for 90 minutes to 2 hours and just laugh
and forget about everything.
Yep. We literally sit in the back of the room or on the side, and you could literally watch people just release those endorphins. There's no better feeling. And Joey was at the Valley Forge Casino and talking to he literally thought we were 4 months in.
Yeah.
But I told him I signed a contract, so come hell or high water, I was going to keep paying him.
Yeah.
And I forgot about this until he brought it up during our documentary that we made. That one of his paychecks, the first one during the pandemic, I put worth every penny on the memo line. Again, just trying to see if he's on it. And he was like, oh, thanks. Because he thought he was going to get furloughed. And then we pick up at a later time. And I'm like, no, man, we're going to make this happen. And back a year ago, April, it was 2 weeks ago, I went to bed with $300 in my bank account. And I had to pay him the next day. And I'm like, well...
Was it still worth every penny?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I literally woke up, and on one of the first grants that we applied for just ended up coming through.
Yeah.
And I woke up with enough money in my bank account to make the check.
That's great.
So that's just
Joey's happy too.
Joey, exactly.
He could buy his beer for the next show.
Yeah. So he was literally like, I took that as a sign from the universe that listen, we're on the right path.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this happen. I mean, it's just meant to be.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the other things, because in every single one of our shows, we like to talk about how the business is helping the community. Occasionally we have nonprofits on, but when we talk to business, we want to talk to business about what they're doing to partner with the community and support the community.
Yep.
Regardless of the fact that you're bringing hundreds of people in here every week.
So like I said, we're a completely BYO venue. So like for example, tonight it's a whiskey and cigar night.
Okay.
So we're partnering with Railroad, and they're bringing in high-end whiskey, beer, and wine. Everybody's going to get a tasting of each. And then Goose's Cigar Lounge over in Limerick.
In Limerick, yeah.
So everybody gets a cigar, and our comedy it's here. So they get to, with one ticket, they get to support 3 local businesses.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, we're partnering with Root Down Brewery in Phoenixville.
They're Phoenixville,
and then we're having Captain's seafood truck from Trap.
Okay.
So-
Captain Chucky's.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're coming in and they're going to provide food on Friday and Saturday. So it's just a whole big part of it. But then every Thursday night, is a charity night. So the same $20 ticket, and then we donate $10 back to a cause.
Okay.
And some nights it's 2 causes, sometimes it's 3.
Now, how do you choose the causes?
It's honestly, we don't choose them. It's everyone that reaches out to us.
Okay.
Because we found a lot of times too, when we had to solicit other people, they don't get as excited to sell the tickets. So it's people that reach out to us and want to be a part of it.
Right.
And actually, that's all the people on the stage. We didn't solicit any of these sponsors. They're all people that contacted us. So and it's been great partnering with all of them. So
how would somebody contact you? How would they go about contacting you?
So my email is Joel, Joel at SJP, like Sarah Jessica Parker, comedy.com. Joel that's ridiculous. I'll see myself out. Joel at SJPcomedy.com.
All right, I'm going to put that up in the comments.
Yeah.
And
now, a little background on you. Were you a comedian?
So I started. I was working in pharmaceutical sales.
Are you a comedian?
Yeah. No, I quit. Obviously, I stink. So I went to college in New York. Went up there on a wrestling scholarship. Grew up in South Jersey, and then I was working in pharmaceutical sales. Went back to get my MBA, and I started stand up for the first time. And tried it. A year later, I started producing my own shows, and literally like 2 years after that, I cashed out my 401k. I was 29 years old and decided to just do it full time. And now in May it'll be 12 years since I did that, and I produced shows in 22 different states, and I've had probably over 1,000 comedians work for us.
Wow. So how did you make your way to Royersford?
Yeah, so it's funny how I was doing shows at the Phoenixville, not Phoenixville. I was doing shows in Phoenixville, but before that, Jeffersonville Golf Course through one of my fraternity brothers in college, and then we started doing shows at PJ Ryan's in Phoenixville. Then I moved over to the Valley Forge Casino for 7 years, and then the people that I knew sold it to Boyd Entertainment, and a year later, they wanted to move me from Fridays to Thursdays. And I was getting a door deal, which means whether 1,000 people showed up or 1, I made whatever I made at the door.
Right.
And I had to always pay the comedians. So after 7 years of having a consistent, I didn't have to worry about it. We were on autopilot. I knew I was going to have at least 100 people show up, sometimes 200, but I was making a living off of it. And they were like, oh, I thought they wanted to give me Thursdays and Fridays. But what they meant was, we're moving you from Fridays to Thursdays. So literally the next day, the borough council from Royersford recruited me to open up my own place here. Okay. And I was like, it's 10 minutes further west. I was like, but I took it as a sign from the universe that I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another, and we ended up meeting Rick Lewis, who is our landlord here of Lewis Environmental.
Yeah, I know Rick. He's a good guy.
Good guy.
And he's really trying to do a lot for the community.
The riverfront.
He's working on bringing the rail trail back and bringing the bridge back. And really doing a whole lot of stuff.
Yep, the trestle. Yeah. And Yep. So we met, and then we opened up our last show at Valley Forge was September 27th. And we took a month to ramp up here, and we opened up Friday, November 1st. So it's and so what you don't hear many people say is my dad, my biological father, lives in China.
Okay.
And he told me literally the Sunday after, or whatever, it was the morning after, we were open 5 days a week for the first time. So I was finally living my dream.
Okay.
After 14 years of business, putting 30 to 40,000 miles on my car a year.
Right.
I had my own brick and mortar, and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna get shut down." Because he
was in China.
Because he's in China, so they got hit. They got hit first. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
No, not because.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, shut up, Dad. Shut up, Dad. What do you know? I think you're stupid. No,
go back to China.
Yeah,
Wait,
go back to China. You're in China. Yeah.
So,
but he never went back after Chinese New Year. They just stayed quarantined.
Yeah.
So it hit him about 2 months before here. And so one of my buddies that I grew up with, he was a year older than me. He moved to L.A. He had his own hour Comedy Central special. He moved out to have a show on E, produced by Chelsea Handler with Whitney Cummings. And so he's been living in L.A. for 10 years. Two big names, yeah. But he was flying out. We were doing a show Thursday night, March 12th, and then he was headlining here Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th. And literally, as he was flying here, we got word that because we're in Montgomery County, if we were over the bridge, over the river,
Right.
in Chester County,
yeah.
we would have been fine for another week. But because we're in Montgomery County, we got shut down. The 12th was our last show. The
because
13th,
Montgomery County was the epicenter for
Yeah.
the Pennsylvania
I blame it on
outbreak.
Friday the 13th.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so but
Well,
he,
that's not very scientific.
No,
Yeah.
no, I didn't say it was scientific.
But
I'm just
he-
blaming it on it.
he gets off the plane and he goes, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" I go, "I think you're getting right back on the plane. That's what's up, buddy." Like,
Oh, man.
So we did one show that Thursday night in our hometown, and the lady comes up to him and is like, "Hey, I wouldn't say anything about L.A." He goes, "You don't want me to talk about the city I've been living in for a decade?" She goes, "Well, maybe not your flight." He goes, "Well, the flight was fine." He goes, "It was a little weird that we had a layover in Spain because that's like where it was. That's where it was spiking at the time."
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, completely, of course, messing with her, and then, but yeah, so he did a show for us that night, and then the next day he flew back to L.A.
Nice.
So it was just, it was crazy. That was just crazy times, man.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So, like, what I'm hearing is a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck and some creative and positive thinking
Yeah.
is going to pull you through. You might not be able to crush it, right?
Yeah.
But you'll
it'll
keep
get
your
you
doors
through.
open.
It'll get you
Yeah,
through.
yeah. And that's all we kept doing is that we just kept, because when we first opened up July 3rd here, it was we were closed for almost the same amount of time we were open. So we were open 4 months, we were closed for 3 months, and now it's just, we get people to remind, like our email list, we hadn't been sending those out. So are people checking emails? Are people checking our social media? Because that wasn't really buzzing. We were just doing like you guys. We were doing Zoom shows and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Zoom comedy is just not the same. You don't get that same interaction.
Zoom, anything's not the same. I
Yeah.
actually despise Zoom, but I'm thankful for the time that we're shut down for the Zoom entertainment that we could have,
Right.
But
Right.
I hate Zoom.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I'm saying it. Did you see? I said that quieter so that no one would know that I.
Right.
I'm not trying to profess that I hate Zoom so much, but I do.
I mean, there was a lot of things that were born out of the pandemic. And for instance, our show here, the cast at Glocker, the show I do in Pottstown, Porchcast Pottstown, those were all kind of brought to fruition because the normal ways that we network as real estate agents was all shut down. I'm part of the Tri-County Chamber of Commerce. I'm used to going to Rotary meetings, business to business lunches, all of this kind of stuff.
Do you work with Drew too? Does Drew do?
Drew who?
Now I forget his last name.
Okay.
I was waiting for you to go. Yeah.
It's a good.
Just say yes.
Sorry,
Come on,
I killed it
say
for you.
No.
Sorry.
No, he works. He runs a lot of the Facebook shows for the Tri-County Chamber of Commerce.
Oh yes, yeah. Drew from Delicious Vinyl. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
marketer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do know who he is.
Okay.
And I'm also friends with.
We're on Facebook
Bill.
Live, so
yeah, Bill Vitiello.
yes.
Bill
Yep.
Vitiello.
Yeah, I did that show. Yep.
Yeah, Chamber Chat.
Yep.
And he has another one called Off the Top of Your Head or something like
Yeah.
that.
Off the top of my head, I was bad with names.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. But point of the story being we brought this to fruition so that we could continue to make connections and continue to talk to people. And what I like about what we do here is it's because it's a live show, it has interaction. People can put up comments, they can interact with us, they can ask questions. Drew Griffin. Yeah, Lauren McCloskey saying Drew Griffin from Delicious Marketing.
Thank you, Lauren.
He's getting a big shout out today. Eric Chopper. From the
It's
state.
cold outside, but I'm red in the face.
Eric is from the State Theater, and he's asking about hooking up with you to do a nonprofit event at the State Theater in
Be great.
Bordertown.
Absolutely.
That's
So,
a cool
listen,
theater. If
Yeah,
you've
I
been
tried to
there.
remember your email address, and I didn't. So let me
Sarah
give
Jessica
it to,
Parker,
Give it
come
to
on.
me again, and I'm gonna
JOEL at SJP comedy. Need me to spell that?
No.
.com.
Hey, I want to real quick. So we talked about 155 Railroad Plaza is where you're located.
Yep.
But for people that are driving and just taking the GPS, so the one thing when you're coming down Bridge Street, you'll see the old railroad.
Bridge
station.
Street, you mean Main Street?
Main Street. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Bridge Street's in
was back
Phoenixville.
there, yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? I am so proud that you could literally type in SoulJoel's, SoulJ.
It will take you right to the parking lot.
Yeah, but I'm saying you could literally type it into your GPS. I've never had that where I'm like,
okay.
Oh, you could type me in to the GPS, and guess what? So comics always like, hey, what are the directions? I'm like, do you know it's literally all you have to do
is Google.
The
you
venue.
You could even tell Siri, SoulJoel's Comedy Club.
Yeah. So it's gonna come. But
isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is really cool. But
I did that for my business. I did that for my business, and like every now and then, just because I'm a self-centered asshole, I'll Google myself and get directions to where I work.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Boom. Exploded.
We made it.
Yo, you're a character. But in the comics, I mean, you're dealing with the biggest class clowns.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they've been promoting it. They're like, hey, what's the venue address? I'm like, it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah.
Oh, like, do you know where you're performing tonight? It's in there. So you get off 422, you come down Main Street, like you said. It's right off Main Street by the old train station.
You see that old train station, just turn.
Yeah. In between the river and the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
But it's funny, even like, so people, now the train has become part of the comedy here, and then like certain like audience members are like, oh man, I hope Andrew Dice Clay gets a train, right? And
the train comes rolling
to see
through.
their reaction, right? So the train, but it's the Reading Railroad. It's a freight train, so it's not like it's got a schedule. They might have a schedule, but it's not public.
Yeah.
We either get 3 trains or we get no
None.
trains, right? So we're on day 4. And I'm sorry, day 3, 4 shows. We did Tuesday, 2 Wednesday, and then we did 1 show Thursday. And I'm in the car with Dice, paying him, settling him up and everything. Like I do all the comics. And all of a sudden, train rolls through. But he's about to go on stage. He's not on stage. And he goes, wait a second. And he rolls down the window. He goes, what in the... He goes, what is this? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's the Reading Railroad. He goes...
Monopoly?
Yeah, right. No, I know. But he goes... Was this on stage? Was this happening when I was on stage? It's a freight train, Dice. No, it wasn't. He goes, this is wild.
And it is, and for the people watching, it is right behind the stage.
Yeah, it's right behind.
Or
the
right
stage.
behind where the people
you
sit.
can see
it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So we're about halfway through,
about
man.
halfway through,
and we got some people watching, dude.
let's do the drawing.
Do the giveaway,
Joel
man.
has been kind enough to give away 2 tickets to your comedy show. Like,
Yep.
I guess a general admission ticket.
They're good for any show. So and if it's a special event, you just pay the difference. So normally most of our shows are $20, but for example, like we bring in an Andrew Dice Clay, it's more money.
Yeah.
But most of our shows, like I said, are $20. So it's good for 2 tickets. It's a $40 value.
So
any show.
So here I want to scold everybody. Can I do that?
Yeah,
Matt?
do it.
All right.
It's your show, dude.
Because
do
you know
what?
what? We gave away this was the easiest tickets to win. All you had to do was post a funny GIF, and it don't have to be funny to you. It doesn't have to be funny to us.
Right.
A funny GIF or a funny emoji on the comment section of Glocker Real Estate's post.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do to win these tickets that are worth $40. And we had 19 people respond. So there's 19
That's
people.
not
One of
bad,
those 19.
though.
So the odds are great for these people.
Oh, right.
But I can't believe that, it shocks me that people don't jump in on that, because Joel was kind enough to do it, and man, I would go for, if I could win, I would have done it.
I think
I had a whole bunch of gifts.
You're ineligible.
I know,
Yeah,
I am,
we are.
unfortunately, yeah.
I think people think that we're going to bother them. Like, we're going to start calling them all the time, like, you ready to say your house? You ready to say your house? You ready to say your house? Like, they just don't want to be bothered.
we don't do that.
Meanwhile, we're not doing that.
We don't do that.
This is our way to support the community. We're doing this show to support other businesses and nonprofits in Boyertown and the surrounding area. Now, if you like what we do and you want to find out more about what we do in the field of real estate and insurance, please give us a call.
Right.
Because if you think we're good at this, you should see what we do in our day jobs.
Right. Absolutely.
Hilarious.
So just next time, people, we do these all the time. We do
Yeah.
giveaways all the time, and we make them super simple.
Dude, my favorite one is the Ask a Realtor, dude. Ask any question. Like, ask any question.
Yeah.
You could
It could be
literally
the
play,
dumbest question.
how long has Jeff been a realtor?
Exactly. That's a dumb question.
That's
No, it's a great question, but
it'll win you $10.
it could win you $10. Yeah.
All right, man. So,
I
all
know.
right.
We're done yelling at people,
We're done.
right?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm done.
So what we're going
I'm
to ask
glad you got that off your chest, though, dude. I can tell
needed
it's been
to.
bothering you.
Oh, for weeks. or for the past week at least. So Joel, what we're going to do is this is the way we're going to play this because we forgot to print them out and put it in a nice little hat,
You forgot your hat, period.
Yeah, obviously I forgot my hat. They had to turn on the heaters for me here.
No, we would have turned them on anyway.
My head.
Oh boy,
I'm set, man.
How much time do we have left?
Layered up.
No, but for the people watching, this is a fully heated place here.
Yeah, so we have about 30 heaters.
Yeah.
We kept adding and adding and adding. So and they heat like about 200 to 250 square feet.
So don't wear shorts tonight. But,
No.
But
Yeah,
definitely it's
Like
going to
that
be
guy.
nice and warm. It's going to be toasty.
Ironic timing. That's one of our sponsors, Mike from Railroad, who always wears. So, actually, a funny thing, you got to follow him on social media because one of his customers posted, he goes, my son was wearing a hoodie and shorts. And I said, why are you wearing that? He goes, Mike from Railroad does.
Setting trends.
Yeah,
Setting
he's
trends.
a pillar of our community.
Is he one of those guys that never wears?
Yeah,
long pants?
that's his outfit. Whether different color, but it's the same outfit.
Even
Always
snow?
wear hooded. Yeah, snow, hooded sweatshirt, shorts. Might be
All right.
different color, but it's always the same outfit.
I tell my wife
Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, or Eagles, Sixers, Flyers.
Yeah. He doesn't even know. He
right.
does something related to
We're
sports.
having side conversations
Yeah.
with the
Okay.
people. Yeah,
I'm done with that.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do, Joel, to pick this winner.
Yep.
So that it's completely random. Say a number between 1 and 19.
Well, let's go with March 13th, the day of the shutdown.
All right.
Let's
so
go with
Let me
13.
count this, and
Lucky
hopefully my
13.
Lucky 13.
hopefully my counting skills are good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He's gotta use both hands.
12, 13.
And a shoe.
He's got to borrow. Yeah, he's got to borrow 3.
Aaron, Kathleen.
Aaron Kathleen,
Yes.
you are the winner to
Congratulations.
SoulJoel's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Aaron Kathleen must be our Facebook name.
Yeah, it's got to be.
What?
That's a pseudonym, dude. That's
Yeah,
a
she doesn't
handle.
have 2 first names,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
She's using
You don't
that to
think that's
like
even
troll
possible?
the local mom
Could be.
site.
I have 2 first names. Jeff Frederick.
I have a fake.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't use my real name on my personal page. I
No,
got
you
Rufus
don't.
Jefferson.
Well, now
Yeah.
you blew it, dude. Now everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows anyway because I put my picture up on it. Because
You didn't used to.
no, people were seriously because my other show I talk politics.
Mhm.
People were saying that I was hiding behind a fake name,
Oh.
so I put my name up there. I ain't hiding behind nothing.
That's hilarious.
All right. Well, congratulations, Aaron. You got 2 tickets to SoulJoel's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And use them wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, man, I want to go back to this because this is the kind of stuff that you could possibly see at SoulJoel's, dude.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of this guy. I watch this guy, Big J Okerson. I've seen him on Nikki Glazer's show. What's it? Her show's.
He's got his own show called
He's-
Bonfire, too.
He's got
Yep.
Bonfire. I've seen him on Nikki Glazer. I follow him on Facebook. Funny as hell, dude. The stuff he says.
Originally
is-
from Philly, so he started in Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from the Keith Robinson train. So he started with Mike Vecchione and Kurt Metzger and all these got Joe DeRosa and Kevin Hart, and they all came up together in Philly and then moved to
Okay.
New York.
So tell us that story that you were telling Jeff before
Yeah.
this while I was
Yeah, yeah.
setting up and doing the sound checks and everything, and I was in and out of it, so I heard enough.
Right.
It's hilarious.
So it was a 17-day festival. It was night 14, and Big J wasn't even supposed to be on the show because there's 3 guys on the podcast. It's Dave Smith, Louis Gomez, and Big J Okerson. And Dave Smith had to step down because there was a death in his wife's family, so he had to stay home and watch their young child. So the agent called me, and I have ears everywhere. All these comedy fans that I'm friends with that come to our venue, they're like, "Hey man, Big J's about to come to your show," and I was like, "It's great news." So the agent called me. He goes, "I have bad news and good news." I go, "Bad news is Dave Smith canceled. The good news is Big J's on the show," and she goes, "Whew. Yeah, that's actually exactly why I was calling." And I was like, "Yeah, I got eyes and ears everywhere." They're like, "All right." So he wasn't even. So it was like a perfect storm, and. One of the comics that was on Wednesday night and Friday night, Casey Aurora, he did a guest spot. So he did it like a 5-6 minute spot. We had James Mattern, who was the best host in New York. He was living with me during the quarantine. So, yeah, I sold my house in New Jersey. I moved into my sister's basement. So it's her 4 kids, me, and one of my best friends.
No, hold on, dude.
It's
that
like,
is the birthplace of some real comedy, dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing but jokes that can come out of that.
Yeah.
If
Somehow,
you ain't laughing about that, you're crying, brother.
They said it was 2021 version of Full House. My sister was Danny Tanner, and it somehow he was Jesse and I was Uncle Joey. I'm like, I don't know, but we're both living in the basement. Absolutely, there's a lot of jokes there,
That is
buddy.
great.
And so he's hosting the show. We had a guest spot, and then this guy Zach Amico was on the show, and I said it was about 100 people, and we did a 17-day festival. This is night 14, and the husband and wife, the wife had bought the 17-day pass, so she was here every night. And her husband was probably here half the nights. When he didn't have to work, he was here. For the first time, they brought their kids. And the daughter was from Reading. The son was from L.A., and he was a porn producer. And he kept telling us, like
he wanted some street
like
cred.
we care, right?
Yeah. You know what I do? You know what I do?
Yeah, you know what I do? Yeah.
He's just begging to be made a joke.
Well,
Like, at that point, like,
well,
he's
here's
just
the thing.
begging.
He was handing out his card, everyone, and like this and that. And so they lit it. One first comic, Luis Gomez, was talking about their podcast and all these comics. They're doing a fake election because last year was an election year, and his sister yells out, "F this place, F Pennsylvania, F Trump, everyone's racist." And it's like, dude, what are you talking? The whole there was 100 people there. The whole crowd was like, "What are you not talking?" They were talking about
That
comedians.
must have been boiling in her head.
Yeah, she was just looking for a reason. She was cruising for a beef.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. So a guy in the back starts like saying something. So the brother goes to confront this guy because he's trying to stick up for his sister. And I just grabbed him by the arm. I'm like, "Hey man," and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna mess me up." I'm like, "No, I'm the owner. I just want everybody to laugh and enjoy." I was like, "But you've been warned. If anything happens, you're gonna have to be asked to leave. Why don't we do this? I'm a porn producer." I'm like, this guy.
He just kept
saying, like, I know.
Like, it's a shield.
Okay, he goes, "Why don't you and your whole team? Why don't I just give you free porn?" I go, "Yeah, no, it's his.
Why don't I give you and your whole team some gonorrhea?"
It's
on VHS.
Yeah. I thought it was called the internet, but apparently this guy's got something.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost as if he was like 1992 and he was the Wu-Tang selling his tapes out the trunk. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
what does he have?
Hold on. I got a name for him. His name's the Jizza.
Yeah. Buddy, well done. Well done. Way to tie that all together.
Yeah. Go ahead. So
was it the RZA? No, it was the Jizza. That's so funny. So literally, I go up to Big J, who's next, and I said, I'm like, "Listen, I want this girl to be lead." He goes, So he goes up on stage. He goes, "I'll tell you when she has to leave." He goes, "I just like the fact that she didn't say F Royersford. She didn't say F Montgomery County. She said F Pennsylvania." She goes, "Well, "Sweetie, where are you from?" She goes, "Who, me?" She ended up being from Reading. I was like, "Yeah, but how do you not know? I've been talking about you literally for the last 5 minutes." Yeah. So fast forward 30 minutes, she gets asked to leave. The show is 2 minutes away from ending. And if it wasn't for that guest spot, all the other it was a perfect storm. Big J wasn't even supposed to be on the show.
Yeah.
And he's a crowd work guy, so he constantly is talking to the crowd. It was such of a mix of a perfect storm. And so I go to escort the girl out with her mom and stepmom because it was a Maury Povich white trash show. And as I go out, I hear rumbling behind me, and the brother, again, to defend his sister's honor, was sitting there and arguing with the owner. And I mean, with Big J, I'm the owner.
J, yeah.
And all of a sudden, just rips him off stage.
Who? Big J Okerson.
The audience member, the guy, the porn producer.
Yeah, pulled
grabbed
Big J down.
Big J,
And listen, Big, he's a
for a
big
reason.
dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big dude, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So it's literally crazy. So the guy, but I didn't.
Now, can Big J handle himself in this? Is he able to
no one explain. I mean, even he's been in the business for 20 years. No one expects that. You
No,
know what I mean?
right,
Like,
no.
You're sitting there. I mean, you got freedom of speech. You're sitting there like,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, hey, we're a comedy show. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
right.
it hasn't happened in 14 years for me before this. It probably won't happen for another 14 years.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy.
It's super
to think
crazy.
Something
Yeah.
That, yeah.
And he's like you're saying, he's a crowd work guy too.
Crowd work
Like
guy, yeah.
he works with the crowd.
Yeah.
He'll insult the crowd a little bit and then
Right.
pull it back, push it out.
But the craziest thing is that I told you our GM, his girlfriend, within a half hour of the cops being here and getting arrested and the whole thing, she's texting going,
Getting arrested.
hey, are you okay?
That's a good night.
And I was like, how? But I'm like, how did she find? Oh, it's all over Instagram. More people in 14 hours were talking about SoulJoel's than in 14 years in this business. It was literally insane. The next day, like we go to announce Jim Brewer, and we had already been in negotiations with it, but it's like, this is the weekend, this is the money, and then his manager goes, by the way, what happened at your place last night? I'm like, oh, everybody knows. I'm like, from New York to LA, I'm like, everybody's talking about it. And then 2 days later, we had Dave Attell.
Yeah.
So it was like, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. It was like lightning struck 3 times in 3 days. And it was the perfect
That's
storm.
just like
David
blew
Tell
you
was
up.
here?
Dave Attell twice.
Didn't you say that Stern was talking about that?
Stern was talking about it, and whether they didn't might necessarily say SoulJoel's, but they talked about Big J getting pulled off stage
Yeah.
at a venue, and we had Gary Valentine, who is Kevin James's brother.
Okay.
We had Michael Rapp.
I didn't know Kevin James's brother.
To
was in
stand up,
comedy,
yeah, they're both comics,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're now known more for their acting.
Okay.
But Michael Rappaport, who started as a
Yeah.
stand up too, he's an act. Nikki Glazer, like he said, Michelle Wolf, Donnell Rawlings, who was Ashy Larry from the Chappelle Show, he was here, and then we had Chris DiStefano and Giannis Pappas and Jessica Curson. There's been a Louis C.K.
Good
came,
lineup.
Louis
Louis C.K.?
3 times, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
we've been getting the best of the best, and it's been great for the audience members because they have something to look forward to and give themselves something to laugh during this pandemic, and because a lot of places haven't been open, but we've been able to keep it open, and then also for the comics,
Yeah.
we've been able to give them a place to perform and a place to earn a living, where a lot of places aren't, because New York is the training grounds where it's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You're trying to run a marathon, but you need somewhere to work out.
Yeah.
And their workout places, all the comedy clubs in New York have been shut down. So we're
And-
one of the few places that have stayed open.
And it's super great for the suburbs. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to go into Philly. You don't have to go into New York, and
Right.
which everybody
Exactly.
around here would
Well-
have to go to. I mean, there's no comedy clubs around
Well,
here
and
that I
it's
know.
funny. Janine from Sweet Aloha, she's the one and she felt bad that she's another business owner trying to give me advice, but she goes, "Do you guys stress free parking?" I'm like, "No, because of the thing you said. Like people that haven't been here or might not be familiar. It's like we take it for granted because we live in the suburbs,
Yeah,
but
right.
But yeah, no, there's plenty, and I do. It's probably not one of the biggest, but it's one of the probably top 10 questions I get. Like, how's parking? Am I going to see it? And people don't realize, there's plenty of parking here because
Yeah.
we're in a huge lot, and although there's other offices and other places,
I think
but
the train's coming through.
I think a train's coming through.
We got the
Yeah.
train.
So listen, before the train really hits, and we'll just have to work up on the microphones a little bit.
Yeah.
And I can tell we're dropping some frames too. So I did hit the record button so people can go back and catch up.
What do you mean
If
we're
the-
dropping some frames?
The feed's getting a little. There's some
getting
kind
a
of
little slow or
interference with the
something?
feed, so we're slowing down. So
Okay.
if that's bothering you, we'll repost the show later on, and it'll be smooth.
Okay.
But I want to get into one of my, honest to God, one of my favorite comedians, a guy that I can watch over and over again is Jim Brewer, dude. And
Absolutely.
you're
Absolutely.
You
he's
better
coming,
talk quickly, brother.
He's coming in this week, right?
So it's so funny. One of my friends that I started comedy with just texted me. His dad lives a town over from Jim Brewer.
Okay.
Saw Jim Brewer at lunch today and told him that he knows me and like has followed me, and he's actually getting his doctorate, and he wants to
Who, Jim Brewer's
not
getting
Jim
his doc-
Brewer, my friend, and he wants to talk about how like we've been able to survive during this pandemic and kind of use our business model for it. But Jim Brewer is so he just talked. His dad goes, "Hey, by the way, I know my son knows his best friends with the owner," and he goes, "Oh my God," he goes, "I love Joel's place. I can't wait to come down there." So like Jim Brewer
is ready to be here.
He's ready to be here.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And
when they're excited about a place, I think they probably do a better show.
It's absolutely because they don't realize it. Like last summer, he was the first guy to sell out 4 shows, and he came here. The tornado, because we didn't have the dome up yet, had rain delayed Friday. We got rained out, so we had to do 2 Saturday and 2 Sunday. But he rocked. Like he is one of the funniest comics that we've had here.
Oh man, absolutely.
He just every body, like he just physical, and he takes the microphone. His only thing in his rider is that he has to have several microphones because he like it sounds like he's kicking a soccer ball. The way he bounces the microphone off his leg. I've never seen someone do all the physical stuff that he does.
Yeah.
And people just from 1 minute to 90 minutes are just laughing so hard. And now we're so happy that not only did he come back, but he's coming back for 6 shows now. And the audiences here, because we've trained them, stay off their phones. Like if anybody gets recording, that's why we have these signs up here. They don't realize that comics, one, they might be taping out a new special, so they're working out their jokes. They don't want you to bootleg and put them on YouTube. Everybody's got Facebook Live now and recorders on their phone.
Right.
Well, this is their art. This is their living. So this is if you put it on stage, now all of a sudden you're taking away their chance to have the element of surprise. Oh, I saw that joke on so-and-so's Facebook page, and people don't realize, but that's why we have that up there now. But we train the audience, and the comics love that because the audiences have fun. And even though it's their job, they get to come here and have fun. The comics love the audiences, and that's become a whole big part of the show now. How many trains we're gonna get?
I was just gonna say it's not that bad
until it got louder.
I think there must have been another engine in it pushing it.
Well, so that's what I actually said Friday night when DL Hughley was here. I said, "Oh, this train's only got 2 cars." No, it had 2 engines, which meant it was even longer. Yeah, I messed up.
Sometimes they have they'll have another engine in the middle and then one in the back pushing.
Buddy, it's brutal.
Hey, if you like trains, it's another reason to come
here. Yeah, it's another reason to come.
No, and there's a whole section of this society that waits.
Oh, yeah.
These guys get so excited, I think they don't even have pants on. They just wait. They wait for these.
The pantsless train watchers.
And they videotape. They just wait. And then, God forbid, they blow the horn.
Oh God. That's it.
Lots of jokes. Lots of them.
Very much holding back right
now. Listen, I do want to circle back to something that Joel's saying, and I think it's important too that some of these smaller, more intimate venues are perfect places for some of these bigger comedians to do what they call working out, or working out their set, working out their joke.
Right.
It's material that they're working on that's currently under development, and they need a small room where they can see and feel the reaction from the crowd of what they're talking about. You're getting a unique opportunity to experience that here at a club like this.
So for example, Tony Woods, he's a comic out of DC. He was Chappelle's mentor, and Chappelle actually has there's a clip online that Chappelle gave him credit for allowing him to be who he is, because he said Tony Woods was the first guy that he saw him do it right, and he like emulated him and made Chappelle who he is. So he came here back in October, and he literally the next day flew to California and did a whole Netflix special.
Okay.
And you watched it now. It's a part of a series with Tiffany Haddish, and it's what he did here.
Yeah.
So it was so cool to see it. Like you just said, you see it here.
And you have open mics here on Tuesday
so
night?
our open mic, and that's like some of our most attended events. We've had as many as 47 comedians.
Really?
Yeah. We were here from like 6:30. Our sign up 7:00 starts, and then it just everybody gets 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah, that was the first night
you
where
could do a 4-minute gig.
4 minutes, probably. Yeah, that's that's one joke.
Tuesday night, dude.
It went so long that some guy goes, "You just crossed me off. I'm out of here."
Yeah, right. That's a lot. That's a lot to wait, man. And if you're nervous, you get it on. That's gonna mess you up.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I think I could do a half hour.
You could.
I think I could do a half hour.
You're fine with in front of a crowd. I'm not. I was in a band, but I still don't want to do it.
I don't
you don't realize how long
a
half hour is when you start talking.
Well, that's true, but we do this.
Matt's good at talking.
I do this 3 days a week for sometimes an hour and a half.
Right. exactly.
So,
yeah.
but I was in a band too for 4 years.
Okay.
When I was in college, so I know about putting at least a music set together.
Well, I was in a band too, but I really don't like standing in front of a crowd and performing something that I prepared.
Okay. See, I would.
Although that is a band.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense.
I was in a band with another comedian that Joel knows, Matt Fulcheron. He was in my band in college.
Give him a shout out.
I just gave him a shout
did.
out. I invited him to
wasn't a
watch the
shout,
show.
though.
Maybe he's
That was
watching.
That was a
I don't
quiet
know.
shout.
Matt Fulcheron.
Yeah.
Check him out. He's a comedian. He's doing a bunch of different stuff.
He just
He's
emailed me
got a-
recently, man. I got to get him on a show.
Yeah, get him on.
Yeah.
Because when he comes, he's gonna stop by my show.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna
We'll
come
promote.
here and see
Yeah.
him and do the whole thing. Yeah,
Perfect.
He's got two podcasts. One's called The Power Hour with Matt Fulcheron, and the other one's called Roadheads with Louis
Katz.
Louis Katz. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's got a couple different things going on.
I love Louis. Louis is the one that helped me get a towel. So
Oh, really?
Louis was a big part. Louis did the second show when we moved outside.
Okay.
And then he helped us get a towel. He was like, "Hey, would you want to get a towel?" I was like, "Yeah, we're trying to get a towel."
That's
And he-
cool.
Yeah, but Louis was because he does he has a little bit of a bluer
Yeah, he's a little bit blue.
but he was telling him a couple. Sometimes you don't know if it's because it's a new joke or you're outside, but then he just like literally there was a rainbow, double rainbow over his head and birds, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't know if some of these jokes are meant for rainbows and birds over your head." He's like, they're better for dark basements
Yes.
in New York City.
There's a reoccurring theme of
Yeah.
basements. Comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of comedy comes from basements.
Sure.
I did an episode of Roadheads with Louis Katz and Matt Fulcheron. There's a Roadheads episode with Matt Green on it.
All right. There
Love
you
it.
go. Look
So,
for it.
Listen, we're at 5:57.
Yeah, it's time to wrap things up.
I
I
can
think.
tell that we're having problems with our technology.
Okay.
So I did hit the record button. So we'll try to get everything together in some type of format that maybe people want to go back and watch again if they were having trouble. This is part of the problem when we go on the road. We're up to the environment that we're in. But anyway, Joel, before we go, I just want to thank you for having us. And any shout outs, anything else you want to give for the good of the order?
Just follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. You can like us. We're almost at 10,000 likes, so we would love it if you could like our page, SoulJoel's, SoulJoels.
Nice.
Yep. I'll be here for sure.
Don't
In the near
forget
future.
don't forget to like Glocker Realty Insurance on Facebook and YouTube. Jeff, throw out your contact.
Find me at Jeff at Glocker. Anywhere, just Google it. And also, jeffknowsboyertown.com, where you can see all the events happening, including SoulJoel's.
Yeah.
You are included in my pages. Yep. So, see the Boyertown events plus his events here in Royersford.
Nice.
Rofo.
I'm Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. That's how you can find me on social media. You can also find me on Porchcast Pottstown on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to the cast at Glocker. We'll see you next Wednesday at
6 o'clock.
6-ish.
Of course.
Around that time.